Hi everyone, it's Ian at DIY Home and Gardening. Going to do something different today. It's a combination of, well, DIY and gardening essentially. Planning to be a bit more creative than some of my other projects. And yeah, not quite sure how it panned out, but hopefully it'll go well, as I've been mentally planning it for about the last 2 months. So yeah, just going to get on and have a go really. So yeah, hopefully you'll stay tuned and see what I'm building. Stage one of any job, get the materials together. Yeah, so I've been to the local timber yard, got some European oak, untreated, it's all been cut. I mean, essentially most of this is odd bits of wood that were left in there, I suppose, sort of scrap pile. So they're all random sizes, but they will be good enough for what I want to build. So keep watching, see what that is. First sections of timber now cut. Got 4 upright sections which I'm going to use for the legs. So that's the 2 side panels done, or the longest side panels. You notice how they've got some nice knots in them. Purposely wanted that so it looks a little bit more rustic. Can't see the value of building an oak table and have it looking immaculate. So yeah, these couple of pieces have been cut so they'll fit inside the planter section of the table, and they'll be one on either side, and I'll use these to support the slats as they go across from side to side of the planter itself. So I drilled the holes on the supporting rails. That's the first section done. So the supporting rails would be the bits that ultimately hold the slats to the base of the planter. So I don't know if you can see that, but I've drawn a line down here which basically is the width of the internal section. So this is the inside of the panel, and then I've just put in 2 marks there, so that's where I'm going to drill through. Just going to do a pilot hole from inside to out, just so I know where I'm going to drill, and then I'll turn the plank over to the right side and then go back through, but with the correct 8 size millimetre piece. There we are, that's pilot holes drilled. Now turn over to, this will be the outward facing side, so now I'll drill back through using the correct 8mm size. Now both panels drilled, ready. Next stage to offer up the side sections and to then mark up and drill through. So in order to get those holes in the right spot, basically offered this up, drill through, which gives you the mark, and then continue to drill through, and then that should be a perfect fit. So this is the short end panel going onto the side. What I'm going to do is I'll run a bead of glue down here, and then knock the side panel down, and that will be fixed nice and securely then. Yeah, and then on to the next side, and then repeat the other stages for doing the other side. And there you have it, first section done. Just going to put a bit of glue in all the ends. Don't worry about what I'm doing, because you won't see these, because the legs will be secured onto this anyway, and hopefully the glue will be dry and clear anyway. So yeah, that's it done for the first side. I'm going to leave it to dry for tonight and then start on the next side tomorrow. Having left the first side to dry last night, I've now got the second side on. Managed to square up the box, which wasn't the easiest given that it's European oak, but yeah, got it all squared up, dowels in place, and as you can see both sides are now on, glued, and so just need the glue to go off before next section, which will be to fix the bottom runner sections into the box itself. Next stage then, so I've got the bottom rail clamped on, and then all I'm going to do is drill through these holes again, so act as my pilot holes, so I know it's all going to line up. Once the holes are drilled, same as before, I'll put the dowels in place and then secure it back down so it'll be nice and firm. I've stopped at that position just so you can see. So as you can see, the dowels are in. I've run a bead of glue along, offered up this little supports, and all that's left to do is tamper it down, or hang it down. So again, just work your way along, and then that will go on nice and even that way. Yeah, all banged on as I've done with the other bits. Literally just going to apply a little bit of glue. Helps if I open it. Apply a little bit of glue, so then that will seep in, just anchor it down. So do that with all of them, and then proceed to do the same on the other side. Now, second side all drilled out, just got to glue and secure this side as well. Just going to let that dry for a little bit and then start on the next parts, which will be mounting the legs onto the frame. But you can see that it's got both base supports in now, so yeah, pretty much plain sailing now. Yeah, so I've done the first markings. They're going to be where I drill through, and these will be the anchoring points for the legs. So I'm going to drill through from the outside, and then exactly the same as before, can then clamp the legs into position and then drill back to the legs so that it's all lines up and the dowels will fit in nicely. Having got all the holes drilled to accommodate the legs, get your legs in position, then using your set square you can then get them lined out to where your measurements are or where your markings are. So for here I've drawn a line on the inside as I want to leave a gap of 10 centimeters to the top of the table, and then you can use your set square to make sure that it's going to sit in level. So in here you can see that the table is sitting away from the set square at that point and touching there, so that shows that your leg is not square or not at a right angle to the table. So then you can make the adjustments to make sure that it then becomes flat like that. So that's what we'll do now. Just a quick tip, so we know that the dowels that I'm using are 30 millimeters long. I want to have half the length of the dowel in the leg. I want half to also be in that timber. So all I do as a quick guide, let's get the tape measure, is I measure 15 centimeters up from the flat section of the tape measure, and then use a marker pen just to mark a line on the drill bit. That way when you hit that line you know that you're 15 millimeters in, and that's the time to stop. So you can see that the leg is now flush with the outside of the table. and also when we put the set square on, it's nice and flat or flush all the way down the length of it, so you know your leg's going to be in the right position. So now what's left to do, drill down through these pilot holes into the legs, and that will give you your correct positioning then for your dowels, for repeating the stages we've done before and securing the legs onto the actual frame of the table. So we do that leg, same process on that leg. Once we've completed this side, we'll then turn it over and do that side also. So I've got the leg halfway on, just checking it all lines up. Now we know that it's going to line up, I'll just run some glue bottom and top, and then put the table so it's nice and flat, and then repeat stages on all the other legs. Now, got the 4 legs on now, all glued in. I've rechecked the angles on, or the right angles of all the legs now. I'm just going to leave it to dry for a couple of hours and then start work on the slats. So now you can see the table is in upright position. Done the first couple of measurements, so measured the internals, just check it's all square, and now I'm starting to cut the slats for the base of it. I've run some glue just down the edges, which just, yeah, it's basically just going to help seal these runners, make it nice and strong. I know it's got glue already, but I like to over engineer things, so yeah, I think I've just got to cut a few more base slats, and yeah, should be done. Right, so I had cut all the slats. Now what I'm going to do is find the middle, the proper middle, and then fix this central piece to both sides, and in that way hold the trough together, or table together, so then it won't bow on either side. It'll make it nice and stable that way. Okay, so the middle section's now in, done exactly the same way, drilled, and then dowels from underneath to fix it in place, nice and solid, and then glued. So yeah, just get the slats back in, and that's it, all the timber work done. And with slats inserted. Now to make a planting mixture, so I'm using multi-purpose with John Innes added to it, and then some sharp grit sand mix. It's going to end up with about 25% of the grit sand to the multi-purpose John Innes, and that would be my planting medium. So let's get mixing. I used an old section of damp-proof membrane as liner, which is basically a polythene type, just to stop the soil having direct contact with the wood. The plants I'm going to be using don't need a lot of water either, so it won't be a problem with waterlogging. And now to start loading the compost and fill the planter. And here's the start of the exciting bit. So planting aeoniums, sedums, some sempervivums, and yeah, so we should nicely fill the top. Right, so that's all planted. Some fairly juvenile plants there amongst some bigger ones, but they will soon infill the gaps. I don't want to overplant it to start with, otherwise I find that fairly soon I need to start pulling them out. So I'm just going to put the lid on now. And there you have it, my finished coffee table, complete with succulents underplanted. All that remains is to say thanks for watching the video. I know it's a long one. Hope you've enjoyed it. Please subscribe if you do enjoy what I'm doing. Message me, and yeah, just keep gardening, have fun, keep being creative, and look after yourselves. And I'll see you soon. Thanks and bye.